Hi, my name is Anne. I'm coming to you from Hagley Field Trips at Home. We're here at Hagley Museum and Library in Wilmington, Delaware. Hagley is a historic and industrial museum on the banks of the Brandywine River. The DuPont company began here in the early 1800s. What do you think they made here at Hagley? They made black powder. This was a black powder factory for 120 years. I'm standing here next to the Gibbons house. This was a workers' home here on Hagley's Workers Hill. There were several other buildings here on the site, but this is the last remaining one that is still standing. It was built in 1847, and the Gibbons family lived here. Mr. Gibbons and his wife and their 6 children lived here from 1859 to 1885. Today is laundry day at the Gibbons house. Today, we put our dirty wash in the laundry, and then we put it in the dryer. Back then, it was much more difficult, and they didn't have any of those machines, so we had to wash the clothes, dry the clothes, and iron the clothes, and each of those took a whole day. Let's get started with the laundry. First, we have to get water. Where do you think we get our water? If you said a sink or a bathtub, unfortunately the Gibbons house does not have running water. So we have to go to an outdoor pump to get our water. Long ago there was another pump, and unfortunately that's not working anymore, so we go to an outdoor spigot with a pump handle. And I'm about to show you where that is, so first let me grab my bucket and then we'll get going. In the 1800s, families would use a pump such as this. There was originally another pump which no longer works, so this is a spigot with a pump handle. The water that they got here would have been used for cooking, cleaning, and washing. So I'm going to get some water here. And now that I have a full bucket, I'll take it back and we'll start our laundry. Laundry was usually done in a shed or a porch, or today in the side yard. And I'm here in the Gibbons house yard. This is the laundry setup. The water would first have to be heated up on the wood stove in the kitchen, and we will see that wood-burning stove in a little while when we go inside. There were 2 wash tubs. This was for scrubbing, this was for rinsing, and this is a wringer, which you'll see in a little while, to squeeze the extra water out so the clothes could get dry. Before we start the washing, I have to add some soap. Do you ever help with laundry at home? Do you add soap to the washing machine? It's very different now. We usually use liquid soap or powdered soap. Where do you think it comes from today? It often comes from a store, but back then it was often homemade soap. It's possible they could have also gotten it from a catalog ordering, or possibly a small general store. Because it's not a liquid or a powder, I have to flake the soap myself, and you can see that I scrape off the soap into the water, and that's going to add to the suds to get enough sudsy water. Today we're going to wash a couple of socks and an apron. First, the socks would be put into the sudsy water and scrubbed on the washboard if they were dirty. This is an interesting noise. That would get the dirt off. Then we would rinse. Now we have to put a sock through the wringer to get rid of that extra water. The wringer squeezes the extra water out, and it falls back into the tub so they don't waste any water. Look at this sock. It's a lot drier and it's flat as a pancake. After I finish washing, rinsing, and wringing the laundry, I'm going to hang them on the line to dry with some clothespins. And after they finish drying, I'll be taking them inside to do the ironing. Now I'm inside the Gibbons house and ready to do the ironing. I'm in the kitchen with the cast iron stove in the background. This is where I would have heated the water to do the laundry. When we do ironing today, we have irons that are electric and they plug into the wall. But back in the 1800s, there was no electricity in this house, and irons had to be heated on the stove. If you left this here for a long time, it would get very, very hot, which was a good thing. You needed to get that hot iron to get the wrinkles out of your clothes. So here's an iron that's been heating on the stove. Now I'm inside the Gibbons house kitchen, and I'm ready to do the ironing. I have the wood stove in the background. This is where I would have heated up the water in order to do the laundry. And irons were also put on the stove to heat up. We do ironing differently today. If you've ever seen an iron in your house, it has an electric wire that plugs into the wall. The irons back in the 1800s did not have any wires or any holes in them or any place to put water. They were just very, very heavy metal. This iron has been heating on the stove, so I pick it up with a pot holder, and it's hot, and we need a hot iron to get the wrinkles out of any piece of clothing. So I'm ironing this. After a while, the iron wouldn't be hot anymore, so I would get another iron that had been heating on the stove and replace it and continue with the ironing. Now we finish with the laundry for today. Thank you so much for joining us for Hagley Field Trips from Home. If you have any questions about the program or about Hagley, please visit our website.